If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
Ricky Gervais has never been one to hold back his opinions, and when it comes to woke culture, he takes no prisoners. Known for his unapologetically blunt humor, Gervais has spent years critiquing Hollywood, celebrity hypocrisy, and the culture of political correctness that's come to dominate many public spaces. At events like the Golden Globes, where Gervais repeatedly returned as a host, he used his platform to roast celebrities who, in his words, have forgotten what the real world looks like. His biting monologues exposed the disconnect between Hollywood's supposed morals and the reality of its excess and privilege, leaving many audience members stunned. Gervais doesn't mince words when discussing woke culture, describing it as a movement that's less about true equality and more about people competing for moral superiority. In his view, the rise of social media and the need for public approval have transformed real activism into performance. While there are many who support causes for genuine reasons, Gervais points out that Hollywood often fails to practice what it preaches.
People come up and they say, I was offended by that joke. And, my first reaction is, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't mean anything. You're telling me how you feel. What I want to say why, and I'll explain to them. I'm willing to explain to them why the joke isn't offensive. I'm not one of the people that think I'm going to say what I want, I'm going to be as offensive, and then go fuck you as a joke.
Endorsing woke ideals publicly while continuing the same old behaviors privately. His humor is designed to break through the facade, reminding everyone that flashy speeches and trending hashtags don't substitute for real change. One of Gervais's central critiques is that woke culture, in many instances, has become a way to shut down free speech. Instead of encouraging open conversations about tough subjects, he argues, the woke movement has fueled a kind of intellectual censorship. Gervais believes comedy thrives when it's allowed to tackle sensitive issues head-on without fear of backlash, but in recent years, he notes, comedians have been forced to censor themselves, fearing that one wrong joke could lead to their career's end. To him, this undermines the very purpose of comedy, which is to challenge norms, provoke thought, and provide relief by laughing at the absurdities of life. In interviews, Gervais has made it clear that he's not against people caring about issues or taking a stand for justice. What he finds troubling is when people turn social causes into an opportunity to boost their own image. His Golden Globes monologue in 2020 remains one of the most famous examples of his unfiltered criticism, where he called out celebrities for preaching about climate change while traveling in private jets and endorsing products made under questionable labor conditions. His message was simple: don't lecture others about morals when you're profiting from systems that contribute to the very issues you claim to oppose. Gervais's comedy might seem harsh, but it's rooted in a frustration with what he perceives as a lack of authenticity in today's cultural climate. He insists that celebrities, like everyone else, are flawed human beings. By pretending to be moral authorities, they're not only misleading their audiences but also setting an unrealistic standard. Gervais has argued that nobody, including himself, should be held up as a moral guide, especially not celebrities whose lives often don't align with the values they promote. Another layer to Gervais's critique lies in the concept of cancel culture, which he argues has emerged from the same forces driving woke culture. Cancel culture, in his view, punishes people for mistakes rather than allowing for growth and learning. He believes that everyone should be given the chance to make amends, as no one is perfect. Gervais is quick to point out that society's quickness to cancel individuals over minor infractions discourages genuine conversations and pushes people to hide their true selves, fearing they'll be judged for any opinion that goes against the mainstream. Gervais's humor forces audiences to confront their own assumptions. He knows that his comedy isn't for everyone, and he's unapologetic about it. For him, humor should never be about pandering to popular opinions. He's openly criticized comedians who, instead of speaking their minds, tailor their jokes to avoid offending anyone. Gervais argues that this results in a watered-down version of comedy, one that fails to address the complexities and contradictions inherent in human society. He believes that by steering clear of controversial topics, comedians lose their ability to inspire thought and reflection. The backlash against Gervais is nothing new. He's faced criticism throughout his career for his unapologetic style. Yet he remains steadfast, arguing that his comedy is a necessary voice in an industry dominated by sanitized narratives. By challenging the status quo, Gervais aims to create space for other comedians who want to tackle controversial issues without fear. He hopes his work will inspire others to push the boundaries, even if it means facing criticism. To him, staying true to his beliefs is more important than winning the approval of critics or audience members who may not agree with his approach. One of Gervais's key points is that comedy should always remain a space for freedom. He believes that by setting limitations on what comedians can joke about, society risks losing an essential outlet for discussing tough subjects. Gervais contends that if comedians are forced to tiptoe around sensitive issues, they lose the ability to challenge preconceived notions. He argues that humor is one of the most effective ways to broach uncomfortable topics, and that by laughing at ourselves, we can often gain a deeper understanding of human nature. Beyond comedy, Gervais's critiques extend into broader societal trends. He argues that in the quest to appear virtuous, many people ignore the real-world consequences of their actions. Gervais finds it ironic that celebrities and influencers promote messages of environmentalism or social justice while participating in industries that contribute to those very problems. His humor isn't just about pointing fingers at others, but also about holding up a mirror to society's inconsistencies, inviting audiences to reflect on their own actions as well. For those who resonate with Gervais's message, his comedy offers a refreshing antidote to a culture that sometimes feels overly performative. They see him as a necessary voice in a world that's increasingly intolerant of differing viewpoints. To his supporters, Gervais represents a return to authenticity, a reminder that it's okay to question popular narratives and laugh at the absurdities of modern life. They appreciate his willingness to say what others won't, even if it means facing backlash. Critics, however, argue that Gervais's approach is insensitive and dismissive of genuine issues. They believe his brand of humor overlooks the impact of certain jokes on marginalized groups who may be more vulnerable to public ridicule. For them, Gervais's anti-woke stance comes across as a defense of outdated ideals rather than an honest critique of society. They contend that by dismissing woke culture as performative, he's ignoring the genuine struggles that people face in their pursuit of equality and justice. Yet, for all the controversy he stirs, Gervais seems unfazed by the debate surrounding his comedy. He continues to create content that reflects his own perspective, undeterred by the opinions of critics. To him, staying true to his beliefs is paramount, even if it means being misunderstood. He often says that the backlash only reinforces his views about the importance of free expression, reminding him that the true purpose of comedy is to provoke thought and challenge societal norms. At its core, Gervais's comedy is a call to authenticity. He's wary of people who, in his view, use social causes to boost their own public image. His humor is not meant to belittle real issues, but to question whether the solutions being offered are genuine or merely symbolic. For Gervais, laughter is a tool for confronting uncomfortable truths, and he believes society benefits when we allow comedians to explore those truths without fear. In a world where opinions are increasingly polarized, Ricky Gervais's comedy offers a voice that's both challenging and unapologetic. He serves as a reminder that humor has the power to transcend political divides, making space for conversations that are often difficult but necessary. Whether one agrees with him or not, it's clear that Gervais's approach to comedy has sparked a dialogue that resonates far beyond the stage. As he continues to push boundaries, audiences are left to decide for themselves where they stand on the issues he raises. In the end, Gervais's stance on woke culture is a reflection of his commitment to free speech and open discourse. He may not have all the answers, but his comedy asks the right questions, challenging audiences to think critically about the world around them. And while his humor may not appeal to everyone, it's impossible to deny the impact of his voice in a world that increasingly seeks to silence dissenting opinions. For Ricky Gervais, that's what comedy is all about.